This is my new dream desk. I like a lot of things about it. That it's sturdy, that it looks old, like something that's been passed down to me. But the selling point was being able to hide all my mess in it at the end of the day. Inside, I keep DIY gifts from my fam and well-loved audio and filming gear. Every now and then, when the mood strikes, I clean up and a huge weight is lifted. And that happens to all of us. The idea of cluttered space, cluttered mind. So we purge, we organize, add some decor to our desk, and hope that we feel more motivated. Hope that we feel relieved, and dare I say, productive. So let's talk today about how beautiful spaces can help us get done so we can relax and enjoy our lives. Plus, I'll share why clutter could actually be a good thing. So first, it is completely reasonable for you to hate a boring workspace because yes, that joyless little cubicle is out to get you. Well, that's not exactly what the research says, but it does point to boring spaces dragging us down. A study by the University of Arizona found that having a clean and well-organized workplace led to 15% more productivity, which translates to more focus and less sick days. Now, it's no surprise that a clean workspace can lead to more productivity. And while the study does mention clutter, there's an argument to be had about whether a space can be clean and have organized clutter. But we'll get to clutter more later on in the video. When a space is filled with visible dust, rings from coffee cups, maybe wrappers, or even dirty dishes from eating while you work, there's an added stressor of knowing that you have to clean up. But of course, cleanliness is just one part of the beauty productivity puzzle. An aesthetic space, meaning a well-designed space that is also beautiful to a person, tends to produce positive emotions. It affects our well-being and even invites a sense of inclusion and community. So what does that all mean? To demonstrate this, I want you to think about a workspace and office with plain white walls, plain white floor, white ceiling with fluorescent lighting coming down. And you sit at your plain white plastic desk with your plain white chair and your laptop has nothing on it. It's grayscale and your phone is on grayscale. There are no windows, there are no plants, no decor. Now, sit in a space that is clean, but sit in it and be productive for 8 hours. Of course, you have no distractions, but there is nothing there to inspire you. There is nothing there to spark joy. There is no texture. It's just blank. Now, think about how it feels to be in an office where the aesthetic comfort of employees are considered. Maybe the materials used in the space are of high quality, like solid wood desks or beautiful floors. It could be colorful or warm and neutral. There are plants, large windows with light streaming in, a nice little bar in the break room with coffee and tea. That doesn't just feel nice. It feels like your comfort matters. It feels like your inspiration matters, and this place has been built around that. You matter. And when everyone matters in a space, we tend to reach out, ask for help, help others. So it makes sense that a beautiful workplace would encourage feelings of community. A beautiful space can also translate to less stress, more clarity, even happiness. It's good for our mental health. And when we feel good, we're more likely to spring into action and get things done. And we can also get ideas, get inspired, depending on how the space is designed. And this brings me to why design is so important. Because while an aesthetic space can help improve our mood and help us improve our focus, if our space is poorly designed, meaning it's inconvenient, if it feels uncomfortable, then it sort of doesn't matter how a place looks because how the design is actually an obstacle to our work. Ideally, we would have a space that is both designed well and aesthetically beautiful. Now, that will mean something different for everyone. But as an example, when I was a makeup artist, I would have so many different palettes. There'd be lipstick, blush, eyeshadow. I'm talking colors here. So I would haul them all in my kit. When I would get to the place where my client was, where I would be applying the makeup, I would ideally have a large surface where I could put out all the colors. And while I was consulting with my client, I would be able to look at the colors and there would be like this meeting of their face and the colors in my mind. And I would be able to form a look. That's an example of function. If I don't have a large space, of course I could do my work, but I would have to sort of think of what I would have in my kit. As a makeup artist, you just sort of adapt to whatever environment you're in. But it was always nice to be able to see things and to be able to put those ideas together, drawing from inspiration of whatever was laid out on the table. Now, to some people, that might have seemed like a cluttered mess. To me, that is the best way that I could work. And that brings me to the subject of clutter. So there are different ideas about whether clutter can be distracting, whether it can hinder productivity, and it depends on the person. What one person could see as a disastrous workspace, another could see as a personalized system. They need things where they are. So this reminds me of when I worked in a newsroom and the news organization would have people come in and deep clean the newsroom, including the tops of all of the desks. I don't know how many times a year. And I remember a reporter coming in the day after the cleaning service came and cleaned the top of their desks. And they're like, you never move anything on a reporter's desk. And now what they had to do was sift through everything that had just been pushed aside so that the desk could be wiped down and reorganize everything in their manner of organized chaos that they had set up so carefully. So I completely understand that clutter isn't always a distraction. Sometimes we need that. However, at a certain point, clutter will become too much. There is a point where it's just not organized and it really taxes the mind, almost like going on social media and just doom scrolling or, having too many tabs open at the same time. It's just going to be too much information coming at you and it'll be too stimulating for you. And there is also some benefit to the actual act of cleaning up your space and also making it pretty, making it look nice for you, adding a plant. Sometimes, many times, we can feel overwhelmed in our work. And when that happens, one way to soothe ourselves is to actually clean up because we feel like we're taking some kind of control of our space. Now, with all that said, I want to take some time to show you how I find inspiration in my own home workspace. So I have worked remotely from 2 different homes. My former home, and I will show pictures, was always falling apart. The tiles in the bathroom were falling down. We had problems with the structure of the house. The windows wouldn't open. At one point, the entire side of the house was leaking and my ceiling fell down. And on top of that, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this, it was really dark in there. And I didn't really think it was a problem. I had enough light to work and I was fine. And then we came into this very privileged position of being able to rebuild the house in the way that we wanted. I mean, I knew it was gonna be nice, but I didn't think that it was gonna make such a difference in my mood, in my focus, in my productivity. Things just don't seem, well, they're not as hard now. And part of that is because I don't have this added stress of everything breaking and falling apart. Here, I get to have light. And that's the first thing I want to talk about is the light in here. It has changed my mood completely. I was so surprised this spring when I just felt the sunshine in my own living room. It felt like Easter Sunday, but when I was a kid, having an Easter basket and going egg hunting. And I feel like that every single day. It made a huge difference in my productivity. I am not a morning person by any stretch of the imagination. The light makes it easier. It signals to my body that yes, it's daytime. get moving, to actually not have it feel like such drudgery to get up in the morning is a huge gift, and the light has given that to me. So next, I want to talk about the color green. Anyone who can have a plant by them while they're working or something green will really benefit from that. It will give you less stress, and here's why. I actually got the chance to interview Florence Williams, who wrote The Nature Fix, and she's done a lot of research on the color green and nature and how it affects our bodies. And essentially what she said is that when we see the color green, it could make sense evolutionarily that we know that we can also live in a space where there are green things. There will be plants that we can eat. There's probably running water. We can probably make shelter for ourselves. So it would make sense that we would feel less stressed out, less threatened by our environment if we have something green nearby. And lastly, we don't all have the privilege of being able to control our environment, right? Like some of us will work at a coffee shop, some of us will work in retail, some of us will work outside, but you can put things on your body that you can see or also sense that feel good to you. So what I like to do is play with my jewelry. I love rings. I love looking down at all of the colors, especially when I'm typing, even if I'm wearing sweatpants. Something else that I do is I spray on perfume. Getting that hint of a scent that you love can be so inspiring. So that is also something that I tend to wear. You know, do whatever you can to really invest in yourself, invest in your space, and just make it your own. Do what is beautiful to you. If you like this video and you want to learn more on the power of beauty, then check out my latest video here. And if you want to support me, then check out my Patreon. The link is in the description box. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.